Hello everyone. We are starting the syllabus of UGC NET paper 2. In your syllabus there is a unit of tort. आज इस सेशन में हम लोग टॉर्ट के बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे. हमारे सिलेबस का ये पार्ट है यूजीसी नेट लॉ पेपर 2 में. जब हम टॉर्ट की बात करते हैं तो टॉर्ट एक आपका अनकोडिफाइड लॉ है. इट इज़ अ ब्रांच ऑफ लॉ विच इज़ अनकोडिफाइड. जब हम अनकोडिफाइड की बात करते हैं तो अनकोडिफाइड अगर कोई भी चीज़ होती है तो वो डेवलप होती है थ्रू जुडिशियल प्रोनाउंसमेंट. So you can write here, it developed through judicial pronouncement. What do you mean by pronouncement? Pronouncement means the judgments. So when we are talking about the tort, we find there is no codified part. There is no bare act of the tort. You have to rely upon the judicial pronouncement to understand the concept of tort. If it is uncodified, so there is no scientific definition of tort. There is no scientific definition. Or we can say there is no any accurate definition. Like if you see the BNS और BNSS भारतीय न्याय संहिता जो कि आपका पहले IPC था, BNSS जो पहले CRPC था, यहाँ पर अगर आप देखोगे you have to see the definition clause and that definition clause define the words which are used in the bare act. But for the tort, we have no any written law. So there is no scientific definition of tort. But still we can say the term tort has been derived from the Latin term. और वो Latin term है हमारे पास tortum. और tortum का मतलब होता है twist. Something which is twisted, crooked, unlawful. Or it is a wrongful act. अगर हम इसको फर्दर डिफाइन करें तो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि इट इम्प्लाइज अ ट्विस्टेड कंडक्ट ऑफ अ पर्सन. इट इज अ ट्विस्टेड कंडक्ट. सो इट कैन ऑल्सो बी नोन एज अ रॉन्ग in English. So if we form the definition, we can say it is a kind of civil wrong. It is a kind of civil wrong which is redressable by an action for unliquidated damages and which is other than a mere breach of contract or a breach of trust. So this is the definition of the tort. कि tort क्या है? tort एक तरह का civil wrong है और अगर किसी व्यक्ति के साथ ये कमिट होता है तो जो अग्रीव्ड पार्टी होगी वो एक सूट फाइल करके रॉन्ग डूअर से अनलिक्विडेटेड डैमेजेस क्लेम कर सकती है. सो इन द सिंपल वर्ड्स वी कैन से कि टॉर्ट एक रॉन्गफुल एक्ट है या एक रॉन्गफुल ओमिशन है. व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द एक्ट मीन्स अ पर्सन डूइंग समथिंग इलीगली एंड इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द ओमिशन वी मीन्स द पर्सन वॉज बाउंड बाय द लॉ टू डू समथिंग but he did not do that. So it is an infringement of someone's else right in rem. Rights दो तरह के होते हैं, right in rem and right in personam. Right in rem means those rights which are available against the world, and right in personam means those rights which are available against only single individual. Against only individual. So if there is a commission of tort, वी कैन से कि इंजर्ड पार्टी का राइट इन रेम इन्फ्रिंज हुआ है, which is independent of any contract, or it is remedied through the unliquidated damages. What is the meaning of unliquidated? We will discuss it further. So we can say कि जो एक हमारा ब्रांच है ये लॉ ऑफ टॉर्ट, ये करता क्या है? ये लोगों को प्रिवेंट करता है फ्रॉम हर्टिंग वन अनदर. ये जनरली इवॉल्व कैसे हुआ? इसमें इंजर्ड पार्टी रॉन्ग डूअर को कंपेल करती है टू पे फॉर द डैमेज डन. अब हम टॉर्ट का एक बेसिक डिफरेंस समझेंगे कि टॉर्ट कैसे बाकी सारी चीज़ों से अलग है, कैसे हम इसको सिविल रॉन्ग कहते हैं, हम इसको क्रिमिनल रॉन्ग क्यों नहीं कहते. टॉर्ट और क्राइम में कुछ मेजर डिफरेंसेस हैं. पहले हम उन डिफरेंसेस को पढ़ते हैं, बाद में हम टॉर्ट को और डिटेल में जाएंगे. जब हम टॉर्ट की बात करते हैं तो टॉर्ट में इन्फ्रिंजमेंट होता है किसी भी व्यक्ति के प्राइवेट राइट्स का और सिविल राइट्स का. लेकिन जब हम बात करते हैं क्राइम की, तो क्राइम एक पब्लिक रॉन्ग होता है. इट इज़ अ रॉन्ग अगेंस्ट द पब्लिक एट लार्ज और अ रॉन्ग अगेंस्ट द स्टेट. इवन विक्टिम इज एन इंडिविजुअल, स्टिल इट इज़ अ रॉन्ग अगेंस्ट अ पब्लिक एट लार्ज. Another point of differentiation is the gravity. Gravity of the tort is comparatively less serious. That's why it is labeled as a civil wrong. Like you are causing obstruction outside someone's house, it is a kind of tort. But if you are firing outside someone's house, then it is a crime, because in the crime seriousness is there. It is more serious wrong. Then second point, in a tort, injured party himself bring an action against a wrongdoer. Injured party does not have any need to wait for the state comes and file a suit against a wrongdoer. Injured party can himself bring an action. But in the crime, even the injured party is single individual, still wrongdoer is prosecuted by the state. State on the behalf of the victim file the suit against a wrongdoer. Because crime is against the word, but tort is committed against a single individual. Then in a tort, injured party is awarded with the compensation or damages, or we can say that in the tort, the proceedings are instituted for the aim of getting compensation or the damages in regard the injury suffered by the injured party. But in a crime, wrongdoer is punished. And what kind of punishment he will get? BNS will tell you. There is a list of punishment, like imprisonment of life, simple imprisonment, rigorous imprisonment, fine, forfeiture of the property, community service. All these kinds of punishments are authorized by the BNS. But in the tort, wrongdoer is compelled to pay compensation or damages to the injured party. So we can say a tort is a civil wrong, but every civil wrong is not a tort. So it has also need to be distinguished from other civil wrongs. We will understand the difference between the tort and the breach of contract. If we talk about the contract, parties are known. They are entering in the contract by their free consent, and they are undertaking to perform certain duties. But in the tort, duties are imposed by the law. If there is a contract to sell something between two persons, so they have created the duty on the seller and the duty on the buyer to purchase something which is sold by the seller. So it is a kind of voluntarily undertaking. A and B enter in a contract, and A agreed to sell his house to the B or anything. for any particular amount. There will be the consideration. They both are bound by this contract. But when we talk about the tort, there is a duty imposed on the parties, or we can say on every single individual. There is a duty imposed by the law, and if person breaches that duty, then it will considered as a tort. Like, you are bound to not to defame anyone. If we can take an example, then we can say law has imposed a duty on A means any person, that he will not defame, he will not trespass, he will not create any nuisance. So, to whom? To anyone. Not only, this duty is not only against a single individual, this duty is against the whole world. But if A defame anyone or any person, then it means A is committing a tort. Then, in a contract, contracting parties owes a duty to each other. If A and B entered in a contract, and if any of them breaches the contract, then they are bound to compensate the injured or the aggrieved party. But in the tort, persons owed a duty generally. So there was a case, Donoghue versus Stevenson. इस केस में क्या हुआ था? One person was having a beer can. In that can, he found, or maybe it was she found a snail in her drink. She filed a suit against the company who was producing the beer, and company said that we are not bound to take care of the person who was consuming it. So court said no, you are bound to take care for the person who is consuming your material. Company said that we are not known to each other, we have no duty to take care of that person. Court said no, it is a kind of tort, and a law has imposed a duty upon you that you will not cause any kind of negligence. You have the duty to take care. So, tort is also a difference from the breach of trust. In the tort, their damages are unliquidated. Means damages दो तरह की होती हैं, एक liquidated और एक unliquidated. Liquidated damages are those damages which are already decided by the parties. कि दो parties हैं और उन दो parties में से जो भी party सामने वाले पार्टी को इंजरी कॉज करेगी या किसी भी तरह का कोई भी इंजरी कॉज करेगी या कोई डैमेज कॉज करेगी, तो वो इतना अमाउंट पे करेगी. अमाउंट इज ऑलरेडी डिसाइडेड, बट इन अ केस वेयर डैमेजेस आर डिसाइडेड बाय द कोर्ट, देन इट विल नोन एज अनलिक्विडेटेड. बिकॉज टॉर्ट में पार्टीज एक दूसरे के अननोन होती हैं, स्ट्रेंजर्स होती हैं, सो दे कैन नॉट डिसाइड प्रायरली. लेकिन अगर हम ट्रस्ट की बात करते हैं तो ट्रस्ट में क्या होता है, डैमेजेस लिक्विडेटेड होती हैं. लॉ ऑफ टॉर्ट क्या है, एक ब्रांच है कॉमन लॉ का, और टॉर्ट जो आपका ट्रस्ट है वो क्या है, इट हैज़ फाउंड देयर ओरिजिन इन द कोर्ट ऑफ चांसरी. सो इट वॉज द बेसिक डिफरेंस बिटवीन द ब्रीच ऑफ ट्रस्ट एंड द ब्रीच ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. देन वी कैन डिस्टिंग्विश टॉर्ट फ्रॉम द क्वासी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. अगर हम क्वासी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट की बात करते हैं तो अगर कोई भी पर्सन कोई अनजस्ट बेनिफिट रिसीव करता है फ्रॉम द अदर पर्सन, तो लॉ कहता है कि वो पर्सन जिसने किसी भी तरह का एडवांटेज गेन किया है और एक अनजस्ट तरीके से गेन किया है, तो उसे कंपेंसेट करना पड़ेगा अदर पार्टी को, इवन देयर वॉज नो सच कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. तो क्वासी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के अंदर ऑब्लिगेशंस होती हैं. क्वासी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जनरली मनी के रिगार्डिंग होता है और इसमें लिक्विडेटेड सम ऑफ मनी इन्वॉल्व होता है. लेकिन जब हम टॉर्ट की बात करते हैं, टॉर्ट में जब डैमेजेस क्लेम किए जाते हैं तो वो डैमेजेस हमेशा अनलिक्विडेटेड होते हैं. सो इस तरह से क्वासी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट टॉर्ट से भी डिफ्रेंशिएटेड है. देन टॉर्ट के ऑब्जेक्टिव्स क्या हैं? तो टॉर्ट के ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं कि अगर दो पार्टीज़ हैं और उन पार्टीज़ के बीच में किसी राइट्स को लेकर कोई डिस्प्यूट है तो उस डिस्प्यूट को सॉल्व करना, उन राइट्स को डिटरमाइन करना. साथ के साथ टॉर्ट प्रिवेंट करता है कि इन फ्यूचर फर्दर ये हार्म रिपीट नहीं होगा. रॉन्ग डूअर को कंपेल भी किया जाता है कि इफ़ यू आर कॉजिंग इंजरी टू समवन देन यू हैव टू पे द डैमेजेस, ताकि इन फ्यूचर वो पर्सन दोबारा से ये इस तरह का रिपीटेशन ना करे. देन थर्ड ऑब्जेक्टिव इज टू प्रोटेक्ट सर्टेन राइट्स ऑफ एवरी इंडिविजुअल रिकॉग्नाइज्ड बाय अ लॉ. किसी भी पर्सन के अगर कुछ राइट्स हैं तो उन राइट्स को प्रोटेक्ट करता है लॉ. टू रिस्टोर वंस प्रॉपर्टी टू इट्स राइटफुल ओनर, दिस इज ऑल्सो द मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द टॉर्ट. Then when we talk about the essential element of tort, we can say that there are the three elements. There is a wrongful act, there is a duty imposed by the law, and due to the breach of that duty, it gives rise to some actual or legal damage. So we will discuss these three elements in detail. First of all, what is a wrongful act? Wrongful act मोरली रॉन्ग भी हो सकता है और लीगली रॉन्ग भी हो सकता है. लेकिन जब हम लीगल रॉन्गफुल एक्ट की बात करते हैं तो वी आर सेइंग दैट किसी पर्सन की लीगल राइट अफेक्ट हो रहे हैं. रॉन्गफुल एक्ट ऐसा होना चाहिए जिसको लॉ ने रिकॉग्नाइज किया. बट समटाइम इट मे अकर दैट there is any act which is prima facie it is seems to be like innocent, but it will end up in infringing someone's else legal right. Like primary meaning is innocent, prima facie it seems to be innocent, but if you go in the depth of that any particular statement or any particular act, then it will be seem like a infringement of a legal right. If you are making any statement regarding someone's reputation and that statement is made to the public or any person who can convey that information to the public, maybe your statement is innocent prima facie, but it has some secondary meaning hidden in it, then it will become the defamation. So you are hurting someone's reputation. So it is a kind of tort. We can say that liability of a tort arises when a wrongful act being complained of amount to an infringement of legal private right, or there is a violation of any legal duty. Means tort के अंदर एक wrong doer की liability तभी arise होगी when victim के किसी legal right का infringement होगा. If victim has suffered any bodily injury, any injury related to his property, then it is not a kind of tort. कोई भी liability wrongdoer की arise नहीं होगी. If wrongdoer has infringed a legal right of the victim, then only the liability in the tort arises. For example, if someone's religion does not allow her or him to eat a non-vegetarian food, but he or she still eat it, then it is a morally wrong. Person cannot be punished for it. It is not a legal wrong. But if another person is forcefully feeding him a non-vegetarian food, then it is a legal wrong on the part of the person who is forcing the other one to eat that food, because his religion is not allowing him to eat a non-vegetarian food and you are forcefully feeding him with it. then you are forcing a person to do an act against his will. It means you are committing a legal wrong. You cannot force a person to act against his own will. So maybe this point is also clear. Now, what is a duty which is imposed by a law? So duty means a duty of care. It is imposed on every individual living in the society. Means when you are dealing with the someone, or when you are living in a society, you are bound to take a reasonable care, or I can say the standard of reasonable care. Means if you are doing some act, so you have to take care that your act is not harming anyone. Your actions are not harmful toward any other person. If it seems like that you may hurt someone, then you should avoid it. So it is a duty imposed by a law, is a duty which is legally enforceable in an Indian courts. Now, what is a legal damage? So literal meaning of damage means to affect someone injuriously. But there are the two terms, damages and the term damage. These both terms look similar, but they have the different meanings and they are distinct from each other. When we are talking about damages, we are referring to the compensation, the amount of money which a injured person or a victim can get from the wrongdoer. Wrongdoer can be compelled by the court to give that amount of money to the victim. But when we are talking about the damage, it means the actual loss or injury suffered by the victim. So these terms are looking like the similar but have some distinct meaning. So there must be a legal damage to the victim. Legal damage means there is a violation of a legal right. If there is no violation of any legal right, there can be no action arises under the law of tort. So, to determine the legal damage, we have two maxims. First one is injuria sine damnum. Second one is damnum sine injuria. It can also be pronounced as injuria sine damnum or damnum sine injuria. When we are talking about injuria sine damnum, means term injuria means a injury. Sine means without. And damno means damage. So it is a kind of damage which is actionable per se. When a person suffer a legal damage, when I am talking about the legal damage, I am saying there is a violation of legal right. And when there is a violation of legal right, you have no need to prove that you have suffered any actual loss or any bodily injury or not. There is a violation of legal right, you are entitled to file a suit against a wrongdoer. If there is an absolute private right and that right is infringed by the wrongdoer, victim has not suffered any actual loss. There is no any bodily impact. There is no any bodily injury, no property loss, but there is a infringement of the private right. Then victim is allowed to file a suit against a wrongdoer to claim the compensation. Like there was a school or there was a landmark case, Ashby versus White. In that case, Mr. Ashby was prevented by some constable known as Mr. White for giving the vote. Now, voting is a legal right of a person. No person can be refrain from giving the vote. So Mr. Ashby was stopped by Mr. White for casting his vote. It means there is a violation of the legal right. So there is a maxim, ubi jus ibi remedium, which means where there is a right, there will be a remedy. So Mr. Ashby was entitled to claim compensation from Mr. White because Mr. White has infringed the legal right of Mr. Ashby. Mr. Ashby has not suffered any kind of bodily injury or any kind of actual loss, but there was a violation of the legal right. Another case was Bhim Singh versus State of Jammu and Kashmir. In that case also, the plaintiff was a member of parliament and he was not allowed to enter in the premises of the assembly where he was going for casting his vote. A police constable stopped him and not allowed him to enter in the premises of assembly where he was supposed to give the vote. So in this case also there was a violation of the legal right. Plaintiff was entitled to get compensation by that constable. Constable was the wrongdoer. Although plaintiff has not suffered any kind of bodily injury in that process or any monetary loss or any kind of loss, but there was a violation of the legal right. And when there is a violation of legal right, it is actionable per se. Plaintiff can file the suit and compel the wrongdoer. Court can compel the wrongdoer to pay the damages to the plaintiff. Then there comes another legal maxim, damnum sine injuria. Means there is a damage. There is a physical damage, but there is no infringement of the legal right. There is a substantial loss to the party. A party has suffered a bodily injury, but there was no any infringement of legal right. Then in such case, no action lies against a wrongdoer. Plaintiff cannot do anything because plaintiff's legal right is not violated. Although plaintiff had get some bodily injury or any kind of harm, but there is no harm to the violation of legal right. So plaintiff is not allowed to file the suit and compel the wrongdoer to pay the compensation or any damages. There was a case in which there were two parties. They open the school. So one person was saying that due to opening of this school, my school is not getting any proper admissions. So court said that there is no any violation of your private right or your legal right. So you are not allowed to get compensation. Gloucester Grammar School it was. एक केस है Gloucester Grammar School case. So you can add that case in this point. So now we can sum up this lecture by discussing the distinction between the injuria sine damnum and damnum sine injuria. When there is a case of injuria sine damnum, there is no physical damage, there is no bodily injury or an actual loss on the part of plaintiff. But still, plaintiff is allowed to file a suit and claim compensation from wrongdoer. But when we talking about the damnum sine injuria, there is an actual damage or there is an actual loss on the part of plaintiff. But still, wrongdoer cannot be compelled to compensate the victim. Because in injuria sine damnum, there is the infringement of the legal right of the victim. But in case of damnum sine injuria, there is no legal right infringement. So we can sum up and say that injuria sine damnum is actionable. Plaintiff can go in the court and file a suit against the wrongdoer, and court can compel the wrongdoer to pay the victim because there was the infringement of their legal right. But in damnum sine injuria, it is not actionable in the court. Although you have suffered any loss or an substantial loss, but your legal right has not violated yet. So it is not actionable in the court. So injuria sine damnum deals with the legal wrongs, or we can say that damnum sine injuria deal with the moral wrongs. So in our next lecture, we will discuss about the tortious liability and mental element and other topics of the tort. If you have any query, then you can let me know.